Hello Internet, and welcome to this week's episode of Gaming Strategy. This is the show where we talk about everything strategy in terms of video games, and this is everything from ranging from Pokemon to how to survive Dark Souls. Today, we're going to be talking about Pokemon. Most people watching this video probably know about Smogon and the tier system, and know that different Pokemon are placed into different tiers depending on how well they fight and how well they are used in the metagame. Whether they should be banned, how they should be used, certain attacks that happen to make that Pokemon banned if they have it in their list. And personally, I find that somewhat unappealing, specifically because a lot of the reasons aren't really good reasons. Because almost every single Pokemon has a strategy that can be used to beat it without specifically making that strategy for them. Now, there are some I do agree that should have a non-used clause, specifically because they are kind of overpowered. But most of them, that's not the case. Today, we're taking the opposite look at this and taking a look at some of the, or one of the, considered weak Pokemon that have no use, or little to no use. This Pokemon is slotted to borderline 3 tier, which clauses it down to 2, which is Sigilyph and Combuskin. Today we're going to be talking about Sigilyph. To kind of explain where borderline 3 falls into the whole tier system, it's half a step above never used and half a step below rarely used. And to kind of get a grasp on what that means, here's some quotes from Smogon that kind of show where that tier really is and what it means. Pokemon that are generally not seen at all due to highly limited and that are unpopular. Their stats and move pools may be, and usually are, lacking compared to higher tiers. Most of these Pokemon don't have a specific niche in the higher tiers. Now this is never used. To quote, for rarely used, they say, Pokemon that have nearly crippling flaws and are typically easily outclassed by either Pokemon in OU or UU, being overused and underused, the two highest tiers that aren't Ubers, which is the banned tier. Most of these Pokemon have specific niches in the higher tiers, but find their place to shine with the more powerful threats locked away in higher tiers. This kind of leaves almost all the Pokemon in one of these two categories. Huge list that they made with the borderline tiers so that the tiers didn't have 300 or more Pokemon in them. That's insane. Especially when most of them have a way to be used and be extremely useful in the OU meta. Sigilyph being one of them. So, let's break the meta and let's use him anyway. Start with abilities. He doesn't really have that large of a list. There's only 3. Most Pokemon have 2 or 3. There's not a lot to say here. They're all really useful. It just depends on how you want to run him. Tinted Lens and Magic Guard are the 2 most useful out of these 3, but Wonder Skin still has its uses. These skills, or abilities, Tinted Lens, it makes attacks that are not very effective do double damage. This is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Simply because that means that not very effective attacks are now effective. They're just like normal damage. Whereas Magic Guard makes it so no damage can be done unless it's from direct attacks, meaning that burn, poison, toxic, stuff like that just have no effect. They don't do anything. They don't hurt you. They don't do damage. Wonder Skin, all status moves with a percentage of accuracy are 50% accurate. It just cuts them all down to 50%, or brings them up to 50%, but I don't think there's any that are lower than. Which means that half the time when someone throws something at you, it just doesn't work in terms of status moves. Which is amazing, but it's not as good as the other two. To move on to items, if you're running with tinted lens, Life Orb is the way to go. And in most cases, even with Magic Guard, Life Orb is still an amazing item. This gives 1.3 times damage to all attacks, but it does cut his health down by 1/10 every time he attacks. So 10% of his health is gone. But there is this. But when you're talking about using something that has Stab and Life Orb, you're looking at it doing more damage than you could ever really need. And that makes this amazing, especially when you're doing not very effective, and it becomes effective, gets the Stab, and gets the Life Orb. That has so many amazing uses to it. Now, you could switch this out for a couple of other things, but they're not really going to be doing what Life Orb is going to be doing. I mean, Life Orb is probably the best attack for him to have. Now, you could switch this out to Focus Sash, which, if he's getting one-shot killed from 100% health, something is up, because he has some amazing stats. But that would be a nice move to switch out for, specifically because it works. Weakness Policy, also simply awesome item to put on him, because it's Weakness Policy. It increases attack and special attack when you get hit by a super effective move. And with the way this boost is a boost. The other thing that you could run him with would be like Twisted Spoon or something that ups psychic type abilities, because his move pool is mostly psychic type attacks. He does have some other things to switch it up with, but on the most part, it's mostly psychic type attacks. Onto moves. Cosmic Power. Simply a must. This boosts defense and special defense. And see, he's already a tank. He already has, he's not like the best tank, but with Cosmic Power, he becomes the best tank. Simply because when you Cosmic Power, he's not going to get killed. He's definitely not getting killed with one hit. So you Cosmic Power, which boosts his defense. So so now you're going to tank that second hit. Well, now you're roosting, because Roost is awesome, and you get 50% of your health back. So here comes 50% of your health back. And then you're getting hit again, yeah, but it's not going to be done as much as the first time you got hit. So now you make the decision, do I Roost again, or do I use Cosmic Power? And you base that on how much damage you just took. So if you took more than 50%, you might want to Roost, but if you didn't, Cosmic Power. So now, so they're obviously not hitting you for more than half of what you have, or what you had. So now they're going to hit you again for even less. And now you Roost again, because now your health is back up. Cosmic Power. And then you start Charge Beaming. Charge Beam has a 70% chance of raising your special attack. And it does damage. So you're slowly dealing out a little bit of damage, and you're boosting your special attack every attack or so. Every other attack, give or take, depending on how lucky you get, how the RNG is in your favor or not. And then you roost. Obviously, your health is starting to go down because of your life orb, or if you have life orb on. Once you get ×3 in attack and defense and special defense, and you get 1.5 to 2 in special attack, this is when the most amazing attack he has comes into play, and that's stored power. Stored power gets +20 power for each of the user's stat boosts, and this stacks across each time you've boosted, so like 0.5, 1, or 1.52, 2.53, 3.54, across every stat you've boosted. This is amazing with Life Orb, the special attack bonus, Stab, and Tinted Lens. Because now if you hit not very effective, it's effective. It does just the regular damage and not halved damage. If it's super effective, it's super effective, and obviously they're going down. And if they're immune, you Charge Beam again, because Charge Beam. On to stats. HP 72, attack 58, defense 80, special attack 103, which is his highest, and it's not the best. And all these low compared to most other Pokemon in general. Special defense is 80 and speed is 97. He doesn't have the best overall stats to begin with. This is why you Cosmic Power and Charge Beam. Even if you have a specific Pokemon that it buffs, that increases his potential before he's even on the field. Because now you get Baton Pass to him, just like with any other Pokemon, when you buff and then Baton Pass. And speed boosts are amazing to pass to him. Special attack boosts, defense and special defense, amazing. And then for EVs, you can look at HP and special defense. These are your three that you want to put two of those three you want to put the 252 in. And then you can put your other 4 remaining in the special attack or defense categories. Or if you're using defense and HP, then put the 4 in the special defense. Or if you're using defense and special defense, put it in HP. Any of these 3 combinations are great for what he does. Personally, I recommend putting one of them in HP because Cosmic Power is taking care of your defense and special defense. You can have higher by putting them in those just when you start out, which can be nice, but the extra HP comes in handy, especially with the percentage base on Roost. So seeing it's based on a percentage, which is 50, then the more HP you have, the more it heals. It doesn't heal a set amount. So putting the EVs in HP just makes that healing ability that much better. For natures, you can look at doing Calm, which is what I'm using. You could use Bold. Bold is basically the defense version of Calm. So Bold and Calm are your 2 that you're really wanting to look at. I guess you could like finagle in and use a special attack bonus instead, like Modest, or I guess you could use Quiet, because speed isn't playing a really big role here. You're basically wanting to tank attacks, and you're probably not outspeeding things unless you pass speed boosts to him. And that is Sigilyph. This has been an episode of Gaming Strategy, and I would like to thank you all for watching. I'd also like to encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe if you like the video. And if it really wasn't your thing, then I will be doing stuff on other video games as well. So go ahead and subscribe if you want, if you like the concept of seeing strategy put into video gaming, and kind of like the breakdowns of how different things work. I'll see you next week. This is Sigilyph, signing out.